Ahoy everybody, I'm Jamal and this is the third episode of my KSPIE series, Missing the Moon. So we are back on a launchpad with a redesigned rocket. It has a new probe that has a built-in reaction wheel. It's a bit weaker than a dedicated one, but more than enough to handle this craft. We also have a new single and aerodynamic parachute, and that's all the changes, at least the major ones. So let's test it. Oh, and I also have SAS now. It seems okay so far. It's starting to go sideways a bit, but it looks like the reaction wheel is doing its job just fine, and we can counter it. Well, so much for that. At least we have electric charge for the reaction wheel. "10,000 meters. This has to go out of the atmosphere. We still have 1500 meters per second. Apoapsis is at 20 kilometers. We are starting to leave the thicker layers behind. It's getting easier to turn because we rely more on the reaction wheel rather than the aerodynamic forces. So it's... oh, flames out. Okay, so Apoapsis is at 118 kilometers, so mission successful. Soon we will be in space and finally complete that contract at the fifth or sixth time. I can't even remember. Getting back might be a bit sketchy because there is a chance that the craft is too aerodynamic and won't slow down enough to open the parachutes. And we are in space! Finally. Let's send back all the science in case the craft won't survive. I don't want to lose anything, so let's double tap too in case we make it. Oops, no electric charge, and we have no solar panels, so yeah, it's dead. At least it looks like a bomb. It's something, right? As you can see, we are going way too fast to open the chutes. I don't know what is the exact upper limit of the opening, but we are definitely above that. Anyway, it doesn't matter, because we lost control a long time ago, so let's just watch the show. I'm back at the runway with my trusty plane. At least I know it works. That is just a little change. A new probe core is now attached to the end of the craft, so anyone can fly it safely. It doesn't need a pilot anymore. So this time we have Bob on board, who is a scientist and can reset the Mystery Go experiment, and also able to bring back more science. Well, not yet, as level 0 it's the same. But the most important, we will be able to reset the Mystery Go unit. So we can go to multiple biomes in one run and don't have to worry about missing any science. And we would miss a lot, because at this moment this equipment gives us the most points. Because of that, I'm likely to go on another tour around the base to collect every points available. Our first journey will be the other runway on the nearby island, and then we will visit the two other biomes that we've already visited before, and then we can maybe visit a third one, if I'm correct, the mountains, the highlands, and the grasslands. At this moment I don't have a biome map, and I don't want to look it up online. It would feel a little bit cheaty. With the help of a mod we can map everything ourselves on the later missions, and I think that's the correct way to do it. Now let's see how Bob can handle this. This is his first landing. The angle seems better than what Jeb would do, but of course Jeb is doing it for the show. A little bit high. Okay, the approach is nearly perfect. Brakes are on, bleeding off some speed, and gliding in, and touchdown. This is how you do it by the book. And this is also how you make boarding landings. So we are preparing for landing in the mountains biome. Bleeding off some speed, just as usual. Not the best spot to land, but oh, okay. We survive. Nice. Yeah, it was a bit risky, but we are fine. And just as usual, we are getting out, collect data, restore, get back, and we are out of here. Same as before, we are preparing to land, this time in the highlands biome. Let's find a nice spot. Downhill is not the best. Oh, okay. Nice. Let's go easy. Do the usual. Yes, keep it. Restore. And we are out of here. The next biome will be grasslands. This looks like an okay spot to land, or maybe it's just a little bit deceiving. Sadly, there is no scatter around here, and these textures won't make it any easier to see where is the ground or the horizon. So let's just hope. This looks like a hill. I try to fly above it. Oh, hi Shadow, good to see you. Okay, let's hope a sudden incline or decline won't cause any problem. No, we are fine. Let's just do the usual and get out of here. And an easy approach. Okay. It was close, but we are fine. Here we are again in the R&D department to spend our hard-earned science. First of all, basic construction, because we need inline decouplers to build more complex multi-stage rockets and to actually orbit this big rock in space at some point. This engine is also important. This is a modified version of the current one, with thrust vectoring and with a little bit more weight and less thrust, but hey, we need the extra control. So this is what I came up with. This is our brand new rocket that hopefully will get us to orbit. It has 4 stages, 2 at the bottom. They are solid rocket boosters. The next one is a liquid fuel engine. We also have a reaction wheel for extra control, and at the top we have the science module with a very little engine. It's the end engine. It has barely enough thrust to blow up a balloon, but on the other hand it is very light, so hopefully it will give us some extra delta V and we can get to orbit. Let's run a simulation first. Oh, too many parts. Alright, so the VIB can only support a maximum of 30 parts, so I have to redesign the rocket. Oh man, this mod makes it really hard. Normally you can easily orbit with like 4 or 5 parts and a single stage, but not this time. So here's the simplified version. The concept is similar. The first and second stage is a solid rocket booster, the next is a liquid fuel engine, and at the top it's also a bit different. Some parts got removed, including the engine. We have to watch out for the battery capacity, because it's also got reduced, but we have a solar panel, so it should be okay. So here we are again at the launchpad. Sadly, our upper stage can only manage 0.8 Gs of acceleration, so we have to get as much vertical speed out of those SRBs as possible. The steep trajectory will be less efficient overall, but otherwise we have absolutely no chance to make it into orbit, and we have almost 0 to begin with. Let's see how it goes. And we are losing speed like crazy. Anyway, we still must go sideways a bit if we want to end up in orbit. At least we have full control finally. This thrust vectoring helps a lot, especially early on. As we burn more and more fuel, we will become lighter, but of course the thrust stays the same. Therefore, our thrust-to-weight ratio will improve. It's still a concern, but looks good so far. This will be so damn close. Okay, let's optimize a bit. We have 250 meters per second. No, it won't be enough. Come on. Minus 50 kilometers, so close. Never mind, it's still way better than what I was anticipating. This is a complete redesign. I've unlocked the bigger liquid fuel tanks, so this way we have more fuel with less part count. Of course, I could always use weak scale, but that would feel a little bit cheaty. So I've ended up with this design. The fairing at the top is actually upside down, again because of size reasons, but it works just fine. With this rocket we have like 350 meters per second additional delta V, so we should make it into orbit. Our main problem is the terrible thrust-to-weight ratio, and we are going sideways. So, because our low TWR, the rocket started to slow down and I started to turn east, which was a mistake. Luckily, this is still a simulation, so I guess let's just restart. The Apops will be out in space just in a moment, and if it reaches 75 kilometers, I will cut the throttle. No, I won't, because we are out of fuel. Well, that's not what I would call an improvement. Okay, so this time it's not a simulation anymore. The liquid fuel engine has been swapped with the non-vectoring variant. This way we have a better thrust-to-weight ratio. Let's see if this helps. So, without thrust vectoring, we have some control issues. How surprising! We are going west, which is the exact opposite of east where we should go. Okay, there is no point trying to make this work, so let's just cut the throttle and try to bring this back in one piece. The weight might be a bit too much to handle for this shoot, but we can support it with the remaining fuel. "2,000 meters in any moment. Come on. 1,000. It should open. Come on, open! Damn it. Well, at least the core is mostly in one piece. So the craft is exactly the same, except this time we have the most Kerbal modification possible, more boosters, 3 to be exact, and I've also added a reaction wheel and the engine got replaced with the vectoring one. We have reached 1000 meters per second, but there is no chance we can actually make it to orbit. So as it stands, the first concept is still the most capable one. It is pointless to have 500 extra meters per second delta V if you basically burn it hovering in one place. We have no signal, but we doesn't need it anyway. And we are safe. At least. This time the whole craft survived. I'm not giving up just yet. This may look identical, but the uppermost stage has its own engine again. This way the craft requires less fuel, at the same time has more delta V and better TWR at all times. Well, this isn't good. Okay, let's just save what we can, I guess. So open parachutes. So placing the wings only on the upper stage made the craft aerodynamically unstable, and that was the problem this time. The good news is that by using only one SRB, this launch is still cheaper than a simulation, because we can recover the whole craft. Or, well, looking at the speed, we might lose one or two more SRBs, but it's more or less the same price still. Or we can lose everything. Maybe I was a bit too optimistic. Well, let's stay optimistic and do some science. Right, keep it and recover. Attempt number nobody knows, nobody cares. So I've moved the wing down by one stage, and it should make the craft more stable. In the simulation it was all good, so I see a very little chance that we could hit orbit. But everything has to be near perfect. Oops, stage. That's already a little mistake. And stage. It's looking fine, but that's not the first time I'm saying that. We still have control. Let's try to head... Oh, okay, stage. We are slowing down, but that's okay. The thrust to weight ratio is above 1, so it's only the air resistance holding us back a bit. And as you can see, ever so slightly, but we are picking up speed again. I will hold on to the steering a little bit longer. We still have some drag. 300 meters per second left in the stage. And the apoapse is in space. And we soon hit stage. Stage. What? Hello? Oh, screw you. You were stealing my data V. 700 meters per second left. This might just be enough. We will find out in the next episode. Have a nice day and English for my story.